Long live the king.
Can I check on Adabra?
There are children hiding behind buildings and bushes and carts, watching their parents be felled.
I do a d6 for the scimitar, and I do a d6 for the hunter's mark, which means I do an additional d6 for each.
Okay.
That's
So I'm gonna
crazy,
roll
dude. What the fuck?
He is looking dead at Cloud. Says Talos. His name is Talos.
Are you okay over there, blue guy?
Clunk. And he pulls it out of Moonwind's body there.
So I want you to slow your rolls, Lucky Charms. All right? I'm here to do a job.
But I don't want my life to be indebted to someone who will lead me astray.
We're out of you guys bickering. We're just like, it's like, well, time to get food.
What is up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Songs from the Abyss. I am your game master slash daddy mommy slash dungeon master, Ernell Pearson, alongside my good old friends here, starting with Devin, Brevin, the dude.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I want my bird.
I want my birth.
I want my bird. We also have the king of snacks himself. It is Garrick Bartholomew Eaton.
I leaned back my chair and I hope I fucked up my framing.
No, you look fine. You look okay.
Oh, all right then. I'm
for
disappointed,
now.
but all right.
Now
You
is-
hope?
We also have our bestie. It is good old Pub Master Drax, aka Sam.
I'm ready to play.
He's even ready for violence today with the violence beanie on.
He does.
Goddamn
right. What are you gobbling on? Say what was that you just?
D20.
He's
you know?
Oh.
Just ready to roll for advantage. You know what I'm saying?
This guy. All right. For sure,
D20,
dude. For
nice.
sure, man.
I gotta watch it down with something good.
We also have my little Thai peanut at Xander.
Hey, what's going on? What's going
Hey
on?
man, you got any D20s you want to spit out too? You know, should I like pull it here?
There you go.
Guys, I'm ready to play. It's like pull some out.
Oh, damn. I coughed up a 3, unfortunately.
My bad, everybody. Sorry to set the bar so high.
I
Speaking
rolled
of
a 19.
Oh, thank you, Devin. I appreciate that. Speaking of, unfortunately, DJ, unfortunately, is currently absent for today's episode, which will be okay for today. We will have this episode just fine because Daddy Mommy here has things good to go. Everything is fine. It's all fine. It's fine. It's fine. And yeah. Anyways, just some very quick housekeeping for all of you. We have last episode was a very long episode. Sorry for the late arrival on that drop. The post-production for the show gets a little bit crazy because I add sounds, I do like leveling, I do all this and that after the episode. So we had originally planned, Garrick, you and I had planned for like the episodes to be released at like noon. It ain't happening. I'm sorry. We're gonna
We have not. Yeah, we're gonna have to. We'll talk about that because I've realized. I was like, I don't think we've hit that mark once.
Yeah, no, not once.
Since
dude.
we talked about it.
Yeah, because I did not realize how much of the post production was going to be taking for these episodes, and so
Dude, and the episodes just keep getting like
it's just
kinda
more,
longer.
It's just more. Dude. There's just more going on, and so I go into post. I'm like, fuck, I gotta add this. I gotta get this. Last episode, I actually didn't add any extra stuff. I just balanced a bunch of things, and so I'm asking you guys, the audience, and you gentlemen here, if you go back and listen to the episode, do you guys even want the extra like on-screen effects and stuff like that, the extra sound effects and such? I still have like the music and ambience in the background, but I just want to hear from you guys at home as well as you fellas on how much you guys enjoy that actually. So I have a good idea.
I fucking love that shit first and
Okay,
foremost.
okay.
Like, yeah, I thoroughly enjoy like. Because like I don't get obviously like when we're participating in the role play, I don't get to see that part.
Right.
So like getting to go back and watch the content and like getting to watch it through the audience lens with all of the visuals included is really satisfying.
Okay. Xander.
Yes, I agree on that, and I would like to propose that we add some maybe like some punch-ins, like ooh, like you know.
Someone? He's
I'm hoping that in post you do a punch in on me when I say that.
oh, gotcha. Okay, I can maybe I can make that happen for you. we can talk about that. Anyways, and then lastly, guys, Songs from the Abyss does now have its own individual social media accounts. So you guys can find us at Songs from the Abyss DND on TikTok and Instagram. So far, we will be spreading our wings a little bit further on social medias from there, but you guys can find us on those platforms, shared around. We will be posting more clips and stuff as time goes on. It will be a good place to find us to talk all the D&D that you could possibly want to talk about as we go forward. So anyways, gentlemen, without any further ado, let us go ahead and continue in with a quick rebrief of last episode. So last time that we were together, we got a chance to defend the town of Phandalin from an orcish attack. Unfortunately, Adabra took an arrow to the knee, aka the neck, and is no longer with us. And a band of orcs and half orcs had attacked the town of Phandalin. You guys so doubly defended the peoples of Phandalin against this orcish attack, taking down a good number of them, along with some fellow boars that they had with them, and had struck those folks down before having to loot those orcish bodies and being so briefly interrupted by a group of anchorites of Talos that attacked you gentlemen at the town square. You guys had a big showdown. Moon got his ass beat a little bit, and you guys are now...
A little bit.
I
mean, he went down, dude. He
did.
had to roll
got
to
knocked
survive.
the fuck out.
Yeah, dude. You guys defeated these anchorites, and now we are in the post-devastation of this orcish attack, with you fellows now in Stonehill Inn together once more. So, gentlemen, as you guys enter Stonehill Inn, Toblin follows behind as you all enter. You guys see that the candles are no longer lit within Stonehill Inn. There are some lanterns that are dimly lighting the main front area. But as you guys come upstairs, you guys notice Jackal is not very happy. And with a shove across your guys' shoulders, storms himself into the bedroom that he had been given by Toblin when you guys first and last had entered. He slams the door behind him, and you guys hear the turn key of a lock on the door handle. Toblin kind of shakes it off a little bit, scoffs a little. He says, "Gentlemen, go ahead, run upstairs. I will meet you up there. I have to check on the town." What do you guys do?
I still have Moonwind, right? Like I'm still
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm still carrying him. Hey there, Moonwind. I think we should get you to a bed.
Oblin, while you're out, there's a small spear buried in the corpse of an orc out front. If you could grab that, it would be much appreciated. I seem to have forgotten it.
Right. Spear, check on people. Okay, I shall return. I'll be
Could
back.
I have a pint to go?
Fucking hell, mate, just go grab a fucking pint. I don't care. I have to go check on the people. And he storms out of the front door, close the door behind him. And you guys are left alone in Stonehill Inn. Where do you guys go from here?
I don't know about you, gentlemen, but I'm going downstairs for a drink.
I'm gonna follow you down there.
Okay. You guys both, Leon and Cloud, work your way downstairs. Moonwind is sat onto the bed that Leon has left him on. Boris, what are you doing?
Boris is going to go and check on Moonwind, and I will say to Moonwind, I'll be like, I still have that cut of like boar. And I'll be like, are you hungry?
I left mine on the counter when we came in.
I could eat.
All right, let's go, and I'll help him down the stairs.
So you two head your way downstairs, and now Cloud and Leon, you both are in the kitchen. Large barrel sitting on the counter with the spike drain sticking right through the side. Cloud, you're pouring this pint down as Moonwind and Boris enter. And Leon is sort of standing next to you, leaned back on this counter that is opposite of this island that you're standing at. And he's leaned back, kind of staring up at the ceiling.
Today fucking sucked.
Honestly, I'm just going to down my first stout. Like, I'm just immediately. We pound that shit. We pour another. We pound that shit too. While I'm pounding my second one, I pass one off to Leon. I pour a third, and I slow down a little bit. Just to make this authentic, because I knew we were doing this role play, I absolutely took 2 shots of tequila.
Oh my god.
It's going to be real. I'm drunk, and so is Cloud, baby.
Cloud, could you give me a Constitution check, please?
Yes, sir.
Plus 3.
See. 21.
Oh, okay. So you knock these 2 drinks back, and it's like water, dog. You knock these bitches back.
I mean, he is a big boy. He is a big boy.
Yeah, you don't even stumble. You just with your big stout body, you knock those 2 back, and you continue on from there, sir.
What an absolute hell of an evening. I thought I was going to be killed by you 4, and then I thought I was going to be killed by a manticore, and then I thought I was going to be killed by that damn group of orcs. I'm still covered in pig brains.
What do you mean killed by us 4? I wasn't a part of that party. I showed up when you guys were already arguing. Besides,
you started the entire evening with an eldritch blast.
It was a thunderclap.
My memory's foggy.
Listen, I heard arguing. I was sent to this town to investigate disturbances with the town. And the thunderclap ended the arguing on the spot. Did not?
I'm grateful that I'm not dead, but I could use a bath. That seems like a low priority at this point, though.
Yeah, it looks like you still have some orc chunks on you.
It mats in the fur.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, of course. Today has been a strange day. It's manticore, orcs, a blue man, a rogue that says
Bloody
he's a
hell,
mailman.
I was so concerned about myself. Is he all right up there? When you put him down, I didn't even think to check.
I did see the ranger man, Boris, that the delivery boy simps to. I did see him give him somewhat of an a berry of some sort.
Aye, he's a straight shooter, that one. He'll be all right then.
Yes. I think after the day we've had, I think we should pour some extra pints of mead and bring them up to the other gentlemen that just went into not 1 but 3 near death situations that we just encountered.
No need. We're coming down.
Moonwind and Boris both enter the kitchen area with a kind of slam of the door open.
We're already pouring.
We're pouring some extra drinks, and we just slide them to the other end of the table and leave them there at their convenience.
I will grab the. I assume it's in like a cheap tanker.
Mead, I'm assuming a wooden mead, a mead cup.
Iron rim.
So I'll grab it, and I will.
We all unanimously had the same idea of the cup. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, it's just like I want to say drinking horn. I feel like that's a fine establishment thing.
Upscale,
but
sure.
I'm gonna grab it, and I'm going to walk towards the back in the kitchen area. I assume there's some sort of like stove or something that I can cook, because now we have these cuts of boar meat. Just be like, to finish off this day, we need to have a real meal and not just the berries that you talked about.
Oh my god!
I look over
I would
at
love to have
Boris.
some of that boar. I would love to feast on the flesh of my enemies.
Settle down.
Sorry, I'm in the moment. I get a little bit eccentric.
Yes.
look over at Boris and
Speaking
I
of
just say to-
eccentric, can we talk for just a brief moment? Was the swift killing of that manticore as necessary as you felt it?
Pause. Xander.
I look over at Boris and I just say to him, I was like, and to think I was just wanting to have some fun while following you and Jackal.
What kind of fun? Because it's a little ominous.
It was getting kind of boring over in the town square.
I saw your magic show earlier. You sure it was boring?
I made no gold.
My mage hand comes from right behind Moonwind, and it pulls out a gold piece and floats it right in front of his hand. I'm like, yes, you did.
I made 1 gold and a broken leg.
We'll get you healed up. Cloud, regarding the manticore, I did not have a good feeling about it. It tried to kill all of us. It kept talking about how it was hungry. I mean, you were there.
I was.
It almost killed me. It
You know
almost
as well
killed
as I
me.
that the source of its hunger could have been important information. Not all beasts that can speak are dumb.
That is true.
Morris nods in
But,
agreement.
There's even monstrosity among people themselves, and not all people deserve a chance to speak either.
Well, be cautious of your swift actions in the future, lest you become a monstrosity yourself.
I'm afraid I've already reached monstrosity levels in the past, but I'll duly note that.
I digress. You've done kindly by me. I take a big sip of my cup.
I do the same, and I reach in for a cheers.
Tink. Boris, could you please give me a survival check, sir?
That is going to be the grand total of 25.
Wow. So, Boris, as you guys clank your
Can I do
drinks
the
together-
same thing I just rolled because I was? I see he's going back to the kitchen. Ooh, Boris, I'm quite good in the kitchen myself. I rolled a nat 20. That's going to be a 25 from me also.
You'd like to help? Okay. Well, thankfully you guys, you didn't even need to do that. You already had the 25. But yes, I will allow. So you guys both are clamored in front of this sort of open grill fire that is there in the kitchen, and there's just this massive hunk of meat that is plated there on the teeth of the grill. Boris is sort of using a small knife to flip this big hunk of meat over and back, while Cloud, you come up and sort of notice that there's a collection of seasonings that are and herbs that are sort of mixed in a variety of bowls here, and you are able to take some pinches and spread
quick.
across the board. Yes, sir.
Real quick. Can his mage hand do like a little salt bay thing? It
My
just
mage hand, yeah, my mage hand will float over, and it just you just see like a
Seasoning
little
meme.
salt.
I need Leon, give me a survival check as well, sir.
Survival. All right.
Yeah, does Leon's have the goods to season it?
15 with my +1.
Yeah, I'll allow it. So your mage your mage hand. Now, granted, nobody else can see your mage hand, right? Like this isn't a visible thing. So there's just like this little pinch of salt that just goes like over the top of the boar's meat there.
he's like, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Can I say something? I'm just picturing like Cloud just going like this and one like claw coming out and him just chopping carrots with the claw.
I had the same image of him like trying to fillet the meat with
He's
like
just
his
like-
cat's claw.
Xander, yes.
Could I reach into my satchel? Because I think I have rations, but could I just. I want there to be like just like some herbs mixed in there, and I just want to like float them over there.
You can. Yeah. We can do that. Just keep in mind you are still currently at 1 hit point and have a large gash on your shoulder from a sword attack. So be wary of this. You
Yeah.
are able to pull some of this out, and you sort of stumble your way over.
Can I check around the room because like I'm not helping cook? Can I check around the room and see if there's anything that I can make a sling out of?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a investigation check, sir.
21.
Okay. Yeah. So you notice that in the corner of the room, there seems to be a number of sort of aprons and fabrics and such hanging from the door that enters into this back kitchen area. And one of them looks pretty unused. Like it's not his usual apron to be using when he cooks, Mr. Stonehill. So you're able to sort of pull that down and cut off the bottom part of it and use sort of like the upper part of the apron as a sling if you wanted to. Otherwise, there is an assortment of other sort of shirts and covers for fabrics of made of anything from cotton to leather as well.
Okay, and so I want to make him a quick sling. I also want to do I want to see if there's anything I could give him to like ease his pain too, besides just the mead.
Okay. Give me an additional investigation check.
Okay.
I could go for some fire wine if there's any available.
17.
17. So you look around the room and you're kind of opening up cupboards and stuff, but you don't really see much of the healing side of things, of medicines and much here in this cabinetry. You do still have the option for the sling though.
Okay. All right. I want to fasten a sling and support his damaged shoulder.
Okay, now I will have you give me a medicine check, sir.
Mm. 18.
18. Okay, yeah. So you're able to sort of carve out the bottom half of that apron that you had pulled down from the door. And when you do, you're sort of able to sort of fold it upwards and kind of tie it amongst this upper strap of the apron. You come up to Moonwind. Put the
Hold on. Before
yeah.
he puts it on,
Okay,
before
Cloud,
he
yeah,
puts it on, I
yes.
wanted to kind of, it's like an interjecting moment.
Gotcha.
While I notice, I'd like to notice that he's like putting this string on. And then I'm assuming since we're in the kitchen area, I would like to grab like a bottle of like strong liquor or alcohol off the counter and throw it to Leon and say, pour this on the wound.
Okay. Yeah, I'll allow it. That's fine. You don't need to do a check for that. Yeah, so you're able to get the sling apron upper part around Moonwind's neck there and sort of put his arm inside of the fabric that you sort of folded upward. What do you do from there?
I noticed you got hit by that ghastly sword out there, and I thought we lost you for a second. So hopefully this helps out a little bit.
I'll take anything.
Also, Cloud just gave me this bottle. I think, first instinct says to drink it, but I think we need to pour some of this on your wound.
Do what you must.
I'm not gonna lie to you. This is probably not gonna feel good.
Can't be any worse than what I've already experienced.
Why don't you do me a favor and I find like a random piece of wood on the table.
Mhm.
Put this in your mouth.
Okay.
I take the bottle and I just like go over the wound and I just pour it out a little bit. And like a few splashes. And then I pick up a cloth and I just kind of dab it. You know. All right, we're just gonna do that for now. Sorry, I'm a warlock, not a healer.
I take it back. Never again.
Would you rather have an infection or would you rather this heal properly?
I meant get in a fight with the likes of you.
How about we finish our conversations before we rush straight into battle?
Daddy, mommy, how is our meal coming along over there?
You guys are all but finished. The boar's meat is now wonderfully cooked. You guys have laid down the law on that seasoning, and Boris is now sort of getting ready to get into a plating sort of scenario for you guys.
I'd like to make a comment to Boris. Make sure you leave a plate for Jackal. I'll take it up to him and leave it by the door.
Very good.
While they're having that conversation, I'm done like dressing his wound for him, and there's still like a good amount of the bottle left. And I was like, "Why don't you drink this instead of the mead? I think this will be a stronger effect for you."
Don't mind if I do. Glug, 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 glug.
I want to try that real quick. Pours into a little cup. Oh, good God.
So as you knock back that sip, you guys start hearing these footsteps come in from the front area of Stonehill Inn, and the door creaks open, and our man Toblin is standing in the doorway, and he looks kind of back and forth at all of you. And he says, "Look at the fucking state of all of you, then. Well, I've no good news, but it's madness out there, lads. Quite the mess we're gonna have to clean up here at Vandalin. I can't say too much, though, as we do have some guests." And he sort of turns out of the way of the doorway, and as he turns, there is a little boy and a little girl standing there in the doorway, just about where his knees are. And the boy and the girl are sort of hiding behind his massive leg, and the boy has his arm sort of wrapped around Toblin's thigh, holding him close, and the girl is sort of hiding behind the boy as well. And they both look at you, and Toblin says, "Well, go on, say hi then." And they both just kind of put their hands back down.
I quickly try to clean crap and bored shit out of my fur and make myself presentable for children because I'm not an asshole, and try to like make myself look
Make sure they can't
as
see
like
any of the blood.
like yeah as unthreatening as I can given the events of the evening, and kind of shrink myself behind the counter as I continue to help Leon. I have some self-consciousness about my size and shape. Or excuse me, help Boris finish preparing the meals.
I'm gonna walk over to the children and I'm gonna lean down. I'll be like, "Hello, my name's Leon. Who might you be?"
The boy kind of shimmies a little bit closer to Toblin. He says, "My name's Pip."
"Hello there, Pip. And you, my little darling?"
And she climbs a little bit closer to Pip. Says, "My name's Gwendolyn, or you can call me Gilly."
"Pip, Gilly, you two look
love
quite
how there's
famished. Are you
Little
hungry?"
Kiwi children in Fandolin.
And Pip and Gilly both sort of like look at each other for a second, and they look up at Toblin. He's like, "You have no reason to be afraid. It's fine. You guys can eat." And he sort of nudges them forward
Boris.
towards you guys.
Boris, make them a plate as well.
Boris will start making a child-sized plate of boar steak.
And as Boris sort of like puts these plates together and picks up these two small wooden plates, he turns around and goes to sort of present them. And Pip and Gilly look up at Boris, and their faces light up like the 4th of July. And they see him, they're like, "Oh."
I'll just kind of beam quietly in the background because I'm happy that I made him make a plate.
Dad?
You must eat and become strong so you can protect those that are weaker than you.
And Pip sort of puts his hands up and grabs the plate down. He looks down at the food. And Gilly grabs her plate and she looks over at Pip. And they look at each other. They look back at the food. And they look up at Boris. And both of them just sort of put the food down on the floor. And then come up to Boris and give him a really big hug around his legs.
I'll put my hands like on their head and just kind of pat them.
I would like to grab all of the remaining plates, like literally every plate for everybody not currently eating a meal, and try to walk it to the table.
Yes, thank you, sous chef.
Roll me a athletics check, please. No, acrobatics. Acrobatics.
Acrobatics. 14.
So you grab all the plates up, and as you do, a couple of the plates start sort of fumbling off of your arm, and you're catching them. Like the food isn't kind of going anywhere. You're able to catch the plates midair, but as you do, these plates are sort of just weirdly stacked up and around your arm with like two plates sort of underneath your claws, and your claws are just like kind of getting in the way of you being able to grab these plates like firmly. So you're kind of just balancing these as you're walking across the kitchen.
I want to use my mage hand and I will out loudly just be like, "Let me help you with that." And I'm going to have my mage hand come over and pick up one of the plates and just carry it alongside him because it can hold 5 pounds.
Pip and Gilly, they let go of Boris's legs and they pick up their food. And Pip goes, "Sir, what is this?"
It is boar steak with some spices, salt, and pepper. You eat that, you will become big and strong.
Pip looks over at Gilly and Gilly says, "Mom never made this."
I start distributing the plates around the table, regardless of anybody's seating position.
I'm gonna look at Moonwind with my dagger out, and I'll be like, "Do you need me to cut this for you?"
I should manage just fine.
He just
I'll
picks
say
up
to,
the steak with one hand.
I'll say to Pip and Gilly, like, when I mean big and strong, and I point at Twin Cloud.
And Pip and Gilly both look up at Cloud and they sort of like shimmy closer to each other again for a second while Cloud looks down at them. And Toblin walks over from the door and he goes, all right, come here. And he picks up both the kids sort of like by the back of their pants and then sits them on these two stools that are right next to the island that is in the middle of the kitchen there. And all of you are sort of standing around this kitchen island together. Toblin grabs a pint for himself and starts filling up his glass over out the barrel. He takes one big gulp, puts down the cup, wipes his face. All right then. Well, I guess there's lots for us to talk about tonight then, yeah?
Unfortunately, I thought our day was going to be ending with a nice rest at your lovely establishment. We already had to deal with a manticore before we came here. And yeah, you know the rest.
While this is happening, I do want to take Jackal's plate up to him and just kind of knock on the door and let him know that there's food outside for him.
Okay, so Boris,
I wanted to get it fresh. So
yeah, you walk upstairs and up to the sort of gloomy, seemingly gloomy door at the end of this hallway around the corner of the stairs. You sort of put this plate down and try to see if you can nudge it underneath the door. Unfortunately, there's not enough space, so you leave the plate down there and head back downstairs yourself.
yeah.
You're muted.
Excuse me. I'll grab my plate and like kind of lean back against the counter opposite the island that we were like kind of working against, and just honestly start to eat quietly.
And we're all sort of standing at this little kitchen island here after what Leon had said. The energy of this area is very low. All of you are sort of as you're eating your food and drinking your mead, and the kids are sort of quietly eating, just trying to mind their own business. But generally speaking, you all seem pretty down. Devin.
I want to do a. I want to look around and see if there's a sitar anywhere. A musical instrument.
Okay. I'm going to give me an investigation check.
Please let there be a loot.
20.
20. Okay. You look around the room. There definitely is not a sitar in here, but you do notice a flute sort of up on a shelf up high.
I want to grab the flute and perform a. I just want to perform with it to try and like brighten spirits.
Sure. Before you roll here, Moonwind, your hand was up.
Oh, I wanted to go over to the Toblin and ask him. So what happened to their parents?
Yeah, Leon, go ahead and give me that performance check, please.
I have a +4. 20.
20. Okay. So you pull down this flute and with this flute you kind of put it up to your lips, and as you do, you start blowing and the notes are coming out very cleanly. It does sound like it has been pretty well used over time. It is quite an old flute. But you're playing it and you're able to kind of pull off playing some very happy, major scale tunes out of this flute here, sir. And you start sort of dancing around the kitchen a little bit. As you do, Toblin turns towards Moonwind and he kind of looks over at Pip and Gilly and, "Oh, come here. And pulls Moonwind off to the side and he goes, I'm sure you saw it. The mother was the one that fell during the fight outside. Unfortunately, she did not survive. This is her boy and girl. I found them outside in the rain. I needed to get them into cover.
Do you have the means of taking care of them?
Lad, I take care of
have the
everybody in this
space.
town. I don't know. I don't have kids myself. But they're more than welcome to stay as long as they need until we can potentially find someone to take care of them outside of my hands.
Well, that's good, as long as they have space.
Of course. I've ruins galore here at Stonehill Inn. And he turns towards Pip and Gilly and says, a bloody shame, though. Bloody shame. See the mother pass that way.
Do we have any plans for bereavement?
Well, they gotta clean up the town first. There's lots of messes out there, lots of bodies, and I'm sure we'll have some kind of ceremony here in Fandolin for the people that were unfortunately taken from us during the battle. Garrick.
Well,
I am going to finish my meal and kind of sort of slightly drunkenly slam my plate onto the island and speak not with a shout, but just loud enough to speak over Toblin and Moonwind and say, "Gentlemen, there is a dragon in the room, and we need to decide if we're going after it."
I'm gonna stop playing the flute when he says that.
Everything in the room kind of goes quiet in this very uncomfortable silence for a moment.
I whisper over to Toblin. Do you happen to have any fire wine? I could use some right about now.
Toblin looks back and says, "Oh, no fire wine, but I do have plenty of mead here. I've got a little something special though." And he sort of leaves out into the front area of Stonehill Inn, and he comes back and he's got this very old bottle of what, no label, no wax on the top though either, and he comes in and says, "This might say shit you need then," and he pops the top off and puts it up to your nose for you to smell it.
Ah, a good old Toblin Stonehill no label.
And he says, "Yep, best around. And he grabs this the cup that he had drinking from, and he pours some in, gives it a little, and puts it up to your mouth and says, "Here, try it then."
I'll take it and join the rest of the crew.
So we're now standing back around this island. Pip and Gilly are still sitting there quietly eating their food. And Pip looks over at Gilly, and Gilly's kind of just quietly eating. And Pip goes, "I don't know if we're supposed to be in here right now." And she's like, Gilly looks back and she goes, "Just be quiet, be quiet."
I'm gonna look at Cloud after him saying, if we're gonna deal with the dragon. And I was like, that is an interesting topic at hand, don't you think? But it is an ice dragon. We saw what it did to that party, that man we saved. That, was it a cyclops? We saw its power already. If it could do that,
He
to
was an
one of
ogre.
us-
Boris.
was it an ogre? Or a
Boris.
cyclops?
It was an
Yeah, it was
ogre.
an ogre. And that
Uh,
ogre.
Speaking of which, now that you've mentioned it, Leon, where is the man from the ice?
That is something I was curious about too. Toblin, sir. The man that we saved earlier, that we brought back, that we found frozen in a block of ice. Is he still here?
Yes, he's sleeping in the room down the hall from where you guys are sleeping. He's getting some rest. I had to keep him somewhere safe.
Fair. Much needed, I imagine, in this scenario, given the fact that I don't know what it was like to be a block of ice.
Toblin, I am not one to pull credentials around here, but I was sent to this town to investigate disturbances, which we have obviously found many. But I believe I was sent here because you do have a dragon in your midst. Can you do me a favor? Here come the morrow.
Yes, what's that then?
So I hail from Baldur's Gate. I am an investigator and a spy. Thankfully, I don't need to be doing any spying around here, but I do need to talk to that man that we saved come morrow. I need to get as much information about this dragon before we make any drastic decisions, as we almost died 3 times earlier today. And I need more info. So if you could please, I know this is a big ask, and this is your establishment. You can run it how you want to run your establishment. There's no argument there. But I do just ask one favor. Could you make sure that man does not leave come the morrow before we get to speak to him?
Absolutely, lad. Absolutely. I'm just making sure that he's well rested and taken care of in the morning. I'll bandage him up, make sure he's good to go. And then when you guys are up and at him, I will make sure he is there with you in the room.
I appreciate it. And Boris, I want to thank you again for plating all of this boar meat up for us. Is there more boar meat back there?
Is there?
Yeah. There's plenty enough that you guys can have some extras. Yes,
I will kind of like half drunkenly interject. I'm going to the temple.
Before you go to the temple, you're going to clean up your plate.
And I think
I can
think
make
we
a
should-
promise on that, Boris. I'm not going this evening. I need a rest first and foremost, but I can assure you, I'm still going to go ultimately. I have some business I need to tend to, but I will be going. I believe there's some truth and there's some important words to that Dwarf King's ghost statement. We've
I
been
will
drawn here
accompany
for a reason. I have personal business related with those orcs anyways.
I will accompany you to this temple. And I do not like that these orcs think that they own everybody in this town.
I want
does
to know
not
why
sit
they
right with
referenced
me.
me specifically and asked me to find them. I've never met them before. Never seen them except for maybe a bloody corpse. But I don't know. I have a bad feeling about them.
There's obviously more going on here than meets the eye. Roll out. Oh. But I do need to know what is going on here.
God damn it.
Way to break the immersion.
Sorry, this is funny, Devin. As you guys are sort of talking, Toblin knocks back one more drink, puts his mug down on the counter, and says, "All right, kids, time for you to go to bed." And Pip and Gilly are both like, "No, we don't want to go to bed yet." And they both like almost simultaneously turn to look at Boris with like puppy dog eyes.
Part of getting big and strong is sleep. And I also need sleep.
I'll kind of take that cue from Boris, and then I would like to kind of come up behind both of the children and just like sweep them up onto my shoulders and start to lead them to their room.
Bloody orc chunks on him.
I cleaned myself up.
He did. He
You clean yourself like a cat.
I just imagine the kids walk in. Yeah, he's like,
I made myself presentable.
One leg up.
He's like sitting there. He's like.
So Cloud, he picks up both the kids. He kind of props them up on his shoulders. They're like sitting on their butts, like on his shoulders. And Gilly and Pip are both sort of sitting on his shoulders, and he's kind of
I'm
stumbling
a little
bit.
drunk. I don't notice.
Yeah, he's stumbling a little bit as he kind of ducks down underneath the doorway to make his way out safely with the kids on his shoulders. And Cloud walks
I
upstairs
noticed
with
one
him.
like lean back a little bit. And my mage hand just goes and just kind of like,
Yeah.
just like supports one of them, Gilly.
So Cloud leaves upstairs with the kids, and
I'm like
Toblin
sitting there. I'm like,
Toblin turns towards Moonwind and says, "I don't know what you guys are about to do. I don't know where you guys are about to go. But just know that the people of Fandolin are thankful for all of you. We will take care of the town. I will take care of the kids. But please, something must be done, because these orcs keep attacking. It's been many times in the past year. It's getting more frequent. We cannot keep doing this. We're losing people."
At this
I'm gonna
point,
Moonwind.
At this point, the drink has gotten to me a bit, especially and as well as the pain from my injury, and so I'm kind of just a little woozy, right?
I'm gonna step over
as I'm looking at Tolan, and I just lightly pat him on the side of the face, like in like a thanking motion, like just like an understanding that you know, we are just here. We're just simply passing by, and we're here to help in any way we can. And then I pass out on his chest.
Leon.
I'm gonna go over and grab Moonwind. And I'm gonna grab him and like kind of support him like I was earlier. You know, I'm gonna take his good arm and put it around me.
Straight
I'm
up
like-
weekend of Moonwinds.
I was like, I think it's time I get this guy to a bed.
Donald goes, yeah, it's about that time then. He turns
But
towards...
I'm gonna look at
Go ahead.
Toblin and I'm gonna say, I am going to look into this orc matter.
And Toblin sort of nods and says, all right. Well, I appreciate you, lads. He turns towards Wardus and goes, gonna be a good dad someday, there.
Maybe. Hopefully better than my actual father.
He starts clapping you in the back.
Snap.
Really, really hard. He goes, yes, lad, yes. We've all got father problems, yeah. And you're quite good with those. Quite good with those kids. And so Toblin, he kind of rubs you in the back and says, all right, well, lads, I think we all need a good night's sleep. Let's go ahead and get some rest. If you guys need anything, I'll be downstairs in my quarters, so let me know.
I'm gonna help clean up like the plates because I assume a lot of these guys did not clean up after themselves.
No, they do not.
Yeah. So I'm gonna clean up after them and help Toblin get this place in, you know, like the condition that we found it in, basically.
Yeah.
And then while doing that, just obviously have like maybe a couple more drinks, and then I'll probably be up in like what 15, 20 minutes.
I mean, I'm handling a passed out Moonwind right now. Cloud is putting the children to sleep.
So,
Go to sleep.
so
he's
yeah. So Leon and Moonwind make their way back upstairs to your guys' shared room, and Cloud already has both Pip and Gilly sort of laying on one single bed at the very side of the single bed together, and Cloud sort of sat back in this chair that's in the corner of the room, just kind of like breathing, relaxing. And Leon and Boris, you both sort of enter with Moonwind in stow, and Moonwind kind of just flops over onto the bed when Leon comes up to it, and he's just like, Moonwind is out 100%. So Leon, you kind of try to lift his leg up onto the bed and chuck him up on there.
I just grab his pant legs and I'm just like,
Yeah. While we're in the room too, I'm gonna take out the sprig that has the good berries on it, and there's 4 left. And I'm just gonna offer 2 of them to Leon.
thanks, Boris. I think somebody else needs one of these. I'm gonna put one in Moonwind's mouth and I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna chew it.
Honestly,
Like that scene from
I'm
Honey,
going
I
to
Shrunk the
sleep in that
Kids with the
chair.
Banana.
Yeah.
Cloud starts to just close his eyes, arms crossed in that chair, just lets himself stoop off. Moonwind is still out, but the berry is successful. And Leon and Boris, being the only ones awake left, are here in this room alone. Leon.
I'm gonna pop the last berry. I'm gonna like just kind of flick it up and just catch it in my mouth real quick. Just a little pink. No. Thanks, Boris. Oh, fuck. Well, Boris, I think it's time we get some rest. Today sucked.
Boris is like way ahead of you. He's already like in bed. He like ate both the last 2 good berries, and he's just like,
Go.
And Boris
I'm
is.
gonna go.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna make my way to my bed.
So Boris is laying on the same bed that Moonwind is kind of sprawled across, and Boris is just sort of laying here on his back, straight up, staring at the ceiling. Leon, you go to the sort of smaller bed that's sort of on the other left-hand side there, and you guys fall asleep into the night. You guys may now go ahead and long rest yourselves. We will allocate second level for you guys. You guys are now officially level 2.
Yeah, I was like, you're gonna have to walk me through this one, Daddy Mommy. I got no
Yes,
idea
yeah,
what I'm doing here. I don't know what a long rest looks like. I don't know what a level up looks like. I need assistance.
Anyways, you guys are done leveling up now. And we are now in the evening of Stonehill End while you guys are sleeping. Leon, with sort of cracked eyelids in the middle of the night, hears a soft sort of gust blow gently into the room. And he can feel this air sort of blow across the top of his body as he's laying there. And when he does, he hears, "Come to me."
What the fuck?
I'm like raising up, like kind of alert.
And you hear nothing for a moment. And then you feel the wind gust against you again. Come.
Cloud?
And you look around the room, everyone's asleep. You can see Cloud sitting in the chair in the other corner of the room, snoring away in the corner. No one is awake. You look around the room and it's dark. All you can see is the moonlight shining through the window.
Okay. I'm going to get up. I am going to draw a dagger to have it ready, but I'm just going to kind of put it at my side. And then can I do like I guess I don't have light actually. I have dark vision, doesn't matter. I'm going to approach the door. And I'm going to put my ear to the door.
And when you do, you hear the sound of what seems to be nails sort of slowly dragging down the other side of the door as it works its way down.
Can I do some sort of check to try and guess what it is?
Yeah, you can do a investigation check if you'd like to.
16 plus 3, 19.
So it definitely sounded like that was nails, like fingernails dragging on the other side of the door. When you noticed at the bottom of the door this shadow sort of shift quickly to the left that was peeking from the lights that are shining through the crack of the door, it comes to you that you recognize this stuff. You've heard and seen this before. And as you notice this, you hear steps walking down the hallway.
I just go, because I have an idea of what's happening. I have an idea of what's happening here. I'm gonna take a deep breath. I'm gonna put my dagger away. I just go. Because in my mind, I'm about to meet my pact.
So the steps go down the hallway, and when you hear do, 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 do come to a stop, you can hear the door handle slowly creak.
I'm just gonna say, I'll open it for you. let's have this conversation outside this room.
And so you pull the door open, and it slowly kind of swings open with you. You can feel as if someone else is also sort of slowly leaning this door open. You walk out and look, and there's nothing there. But as you turn to the left, you can sort of see a door at the very end of the hallway with this dark gloom sort of present in front of the door.
All right. I'm going to look back at everybody in the room, and I'm going to just kind of like, then I'm going to shut the door. I'm going to approach the door at the end of the hallway.
As you shut the door to the room, you could get a quick glimpse of Moonwind shifting violently across the bed and tucks himself back into the blankets, and you close the door behind you. As you step towards this door that seems to be completely absent of light, you notice that you have this very uncomfortable, familiar feeling that is creeping up the back of your neck now as you get each step closer and closer to this door.
All right. I knew this was going to happen someday. Well, time to face it. Is there a handle to this door? Is it just like an open doorway? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna reluctantly open the door.
And you slowly open this door. You can feel the handle give you a bit of a resistance. The door slowly swings open, and inside is a closet. Just a closet. It's about 5 feet by 5 feet. There's not really much in there. There's shelves lining up the walls with small towels sort of lined up around the shelves there. And but what you do notice is there in the middle of the space is this swirling black smoke in front of you.
This isn't quite what I imagined this was going to be like. Can I investigate? Can I peer into this to see
if you like to? Yeah. Go ahead and roll me an Arcana check, please.
Nat 20. Look at this! Look at this! Look at this!
He gave the receipts. He gave the receipts again.
Yep.
So, Devin, you see this smoke, and in the back of your mind, you say, "Oh fuck! Again! Not again!" And your hand slowly raises up to it, and as you touch the smoke, you can hear creep from behind you, and you turn around quickly to see the shadow outline of a being in front of you, seemingly both close and far away at the same time. And this amorphous sort of shape is twisting and spiraling around itself like smoke that's being pushed around by wind. And you sort of squint your eyes to get a better perception view of what this figure is, and as you do, it sort of morphs more into the shape of a woman wearing a cloak of black and a cover over her face in which all you can see is the bottom half of her mouth in front of you. And when you see her, she raises a hand, and in her hand is the branch of a plant that is dead with no leaf, no flower, just a stick. And in her other hand, she lifts up and is a lantern that is not lit. And inside is a candle that is upside down. And as she holds both in front of you, she says, "Boy, what are you doing?"
What do you mean, what am I doing?
You came here for me.
What's with all the theatrics? What is it that you want me to do here again? You know I have duties outside of your wants and needs. I have to still do my job.
Your assignment was spoken loud and clear, boy. And as she says that, she sort of flips her hand with the twig and crushes the stick in her hand. And sort of out as she squeezes is sand that falls from her hand. And when she does this, the candle lights inside of the upside down lantern.
What is it you need me to do again for you?
This is the last time I will tell you. The figure comes back empty-handed, and her hands with her long, spindly fingers and nails looking like decrepit and dead, as if a zombie or some sort of undead entity in front of you lifts from underneath this veil and pulls the hood back. And underneath is a face showing partial human features, but everything above is just more smoke and black. And you can see two beating red eyes within that smoke, glaring at you. And she says, "Don't test me, boy."
I don't know what you need me to do. What do you need me to do?
And she sort of opens her hand and another twig is there, but this twig has leaves on it this time. And she holds her hand out as if to gesture towards you. "Do I have to tell you this time and time again?" And hands it over to you.
I take the twig. Apparently so. What am I supposed to do with this twig?
And she pulls her hand back and goes, "I do not have to tell you again." And sort of folds her arms up in front of you.
Apparently you do. I do not know what you need me to do here.
And she snaps her head back and says, "Typical," and then gusts out of the hallway in a puff of smoke and disappears.
Why the fuck did I make that pact?
As
I
you
still hate the fact that she has not told me what she needs me to do here. She just told me to go here. These cryptic messages, passive aggression. So annoying. This is why I don't have a partner.
right as you finish saying that, the door to your guys' room creaks open, and you see Pip standing there in the crack of the doorway, sort of poking his head out. And when he sees you, see him, see you, see him, he just like, "Huh," and closes the door really fast. And you can hear those little footsteps go back to the bed.
Fuck, did he just see that?
And so, Leon, you go back to the bedroom and lay back down onto the bed that you came from. Close your eyes. And next, you open them again, and it is now morning time. Gentlemen, we have good old morning in Phandalin. The birds are chirping. Everything is calm now. Garrick, yes.
Sorry, I was muted. Before everyone wakes, I would like to quietly leave the inn in the morning and make my way back towards the hill where Adabra passed.
Okay.
Give yourself a cat bath.
Making my way uphill.
Making my way uphill.
Roll me a stealth check, please.
Can do. Let me make sure I have my
Uh,
skills up first. Okay. 24.
24. Okay.
Not a nat 20.
Not a nat 20. Cool. DJ, your hand was up.
I was gonna say Jacko was in his room. That letter that we were talking about, he was transcribing it at night. Doing that, trying to
Okay.
transcribe or draw out the symbols that he sees in the moonlight. And he's waiting until morning to get the rest in the sun.
Okay. Well, hold that thought there, my friend. So, Cloud, you leave the room early morning. It's probably 3 o'clock Pacific time, if you will, right? You leave and you leave Stonehill Inn, walk across the Vandalin Town Square, start making your way south. Cloud, are you heading straight towards Umbridge Hill?
I'm headed to the hill just outside of town where Adabra passed.
Gotcha. Okay. So you make your way to the hill, and there you can see where Adabra's body is still laying there, beseeched, if you will. What do you do?
I just want to quietly, like just very somberly, no words, just approach her, pick up her body, and slowly start to walk my way towards Umbridge Hill, back towards the windmill, where we met her ancestors' ghosts.
Okay. We will have you pick her up, and you start marching your way south, and we will come back to that here in a second. Jackal, you're in your room, and you awake to the sun now shining through this window. What do you do, sir?
I wake up and I look outside for a moment, just take in the fresh air. Think about what happened last night, and then I pull out that letter again that I spent a little bit transcribing, just a little bit, not all the way. And I try to hold it up, but the sun's like not completely up yet, so like he can't. He's like, fuck, like why isn't the shit? Why isn't it showing up? Why isn't this fucking shit showing up? So he folds it, huh?
Let me ask you, how did you transcribe the moon writing? How did you write on the paper? How did you go about this?
Oh, I got another sheet of paper and the ink and quill, and like I would layer it. Like
You wrote across it. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you hold the letter up, and you can see where you had written there's a series of letters sort of underneath this letter that was there, and you're right, the sun isn't quite shining quite enough for you to be able to see exactly what you're peering at here in order to see what you had seen previously at Umbridge Hill. But you can sort of make out some sort of wet mark there. There could potentially be just enough light if you hold this in some other kind of certain way. You just can't quite figure out what that is.
Yeah, basically like trying to find cell phone signal, like just going around like, is it?
Go ahead and roll me a investigation check, sir.
Investigation check. You got it. You heckin' got it, brother. Hold on. It's a nat 1.
Nat 1.
Yeah.
So, so you kind of like
I deserve that. No, I deserve that. First roll of the day, I deserve that. I deserve that.
So you hold this paper up and you like go to try to like hold it in a different way. You look at it from the back. You look at it up against the window. Still just a little bit too dark. You look around the room and you think, I can't. There's no way I could fucking figure this out right now.
Yeah. So frustratingly, just folds the letter up, puts it back in his pack, grabs all of his gear, does a double check of his stuff, and then he sets his gear down. He opens the window, and he climbs back on top of the roof to sit down.
Oh, okay. Roll me a athletics check, please.
Athletics, all right. You won't believe this.
Motherfucker slipped. He slipped
It's a 2. This is a bad day. This is a bad day for him.
You go up
laying
to
in the mud at the bottom of the inn.
So you go up to the window and you like look up to grab that same spot that you had grabbed when the orcs were attacking the town. As you go to grab it, you sort of come up, put your feet up on the windowsill, and you go to pull yourself up. And when you do, your fingers let go, grass breaking from one shingle that snaps off the corner of the roof, and you go falling to the bottom floor. Roll me 1d6 for damage.
Okay. It's also a 2.
Also a 2? Okay, go ahead and take 2 points of falling damage, my good sir.
I just imagine him getting up like Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man 2, like my back.
Yeah. I'm just gonna lay. Jackal's just gonna lay there. He's not gonna get up. He's just gonna be like, all right, this is how the day's gonna go.
It's now kind of comes to morning time. The sun is starting to poke up across the horizon, and the beams of the sun are now kind of glistening into a bright orange across the sky. Cloud is nearly to Umbridge Hill, with Adabra and Arm. And Leon, Moonwind, and Boris are kind of all starting to do the half asleep stretching in their room at Stonehill End. Jackal is now just waking up again in the mud on the ground just outside of Stonehill Inn. Let's start with Leon, Moonwind, and Boris. What do you guys do?
I'm gonna get up, like just sit on the, like just kind of spin while I'm sitting on my bed. I'm gonna look over. I placed that twig on the table next to me. I'm just gonna look at that twig and I'll just go, mumble to myself. Wasn't a dream.
Okay. Moonwind.
I pop up right behind him and like, what was the dream about?
You really are a nosy one, aren't you, Blue Man? How's your shoulder?
I'm feeling much better.
I need something to wake me up. Are you going to be able to make it down the stairs
the bright
without...
sunlight doesn't do that enough for you?
I had a late night. Couldn't sleep.
Okay. I'll leave you guys the space to kind of handle that from there. So Moonwind is kind of glancing over Leon's shoulder, obviously, and
I'm a morning person.
There is rustling from behind, and you guys turn to see Pip and Gilly sort of sitting at the corner of their bed. looking over at Boris, who was sleeping on the bed that Moonwind was. And they're kind of looking over, and you hear them kind of, no, you do it. You do it. I don't want to do it. You do it. And they're like arguing back
What
and
are we
forth.
doing over there?
Oh, all right, I'll do it. I wake up.
And both Pip and Gilly sort of stand up, jump off the bed onto their feet, and go. And they kind of run up to Boris and give both of his legs a hug and say, "Yay, you're awake! You're awake! Yay!" And they kind of like give a big squeeze around the thighs.
Yes, yeah. Now it's time for breakfast. Breakfast and maybe a bath will do the trick.
A bath would sound quite incredible right now.
Mm.
I look
Hey,
over
Boris.
at my pillow. It's dirty.
Say, Boris,
Yes.
you have history with these children.
I do not.
Why do they take such a liking to you?
This wouldn't happen to be your second or third time coming to Fandolin, would it?
No.
Scandalous.
Oh, you never know. Many people like their pleasures.
Boris is going to ignore them, and he's going to get up and start walking down the stairs, and he wants to make some bacon for breakfast. Maybe we can try and do candied bacon. Maybe there's some brown sugar about.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I start nudging Leon. He's like, those are totally his kids.
Ah, you don't know. Maybe he looks like a father. Maybe he is a father. Who knows?
So Boris strolls into the kitchen there, and he starts himself cooking up. Pip and Gilly are still sort of in the room with Moonwind and Leon, kind of jumping up off the bed, playing around the beds and stuff, and kind of keeping themselves distanced from Leon and Moonwind while you guys are sort of on the opposing bed across the room. And Jackal, who opens his eyes again and now has the beating orange sky going across his face, just from the reflection of the sun kind of around the corner of this building, perfectly one line going right across Jackal's face. And he wakes up. Jackal wakes up. What do you do from there, sir?
Just get my bearings. Just look up and... Well, first, I'm still laying on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look up and be like, yep.
Yep.
Yeah. And then, and I get up and I stand up and then, I walk back into the inn and, sit myself down at the bar.
You come up to the counter and Toblin kind of comes out of the back room. And as he turns the turn, he goes, "Oh, fucking hell, you scared me. Didn't see you there, lad."
Can you give me a tankard of your finest ale, please?
So he goes, "Oh, all right, 1 second." And he goes back into the back where Boris is kind of cooking, and he goes, "Oh, Boris, my man, you're cooking once again. Thank you, lad." And he comes up to like the barrel and starts pouring a nice pint up. And he goes, "Don't mess up me pig now."
Toblin, do you have brown sugar?
"Oh, yes, the bottom cabinet to the right there. Just go ahead and poke your head in. There's a bag."
I'll point at it because I would assume that Pip and Gilly kind of ran down with me. I'd be like, "Get me that real quick. Trust me, it's going to be very good."
And Pip is down there. Gilly's sort of hiding and running around, still up and down the stairs. And Pip kind of runs over, looks at you with big, bright blue eyes, and kind of comes down to the cabinet, opens it up, and has this big, sort of decent-sized bag of sugar there. And he kind of tries to and like lift it up and try to get it up to you, but he can't quite pick it up all the way for you. It's pretty heavy.
Oh, I'll pick it up. I'll just like help.
Okay.
Just kind of assist and be like, "Oh, big and strong," and just grab it with one arm.
And then Pip, as you sort of turn to continue cooking there, he kind of just like comes up to your leg and holds your leg again to kind of try to tiptoe up and see what we have going on above the fire there. Boris, please give me a survival check, sir.
21.
21. All right. So you cook the fuck out of this bacon, brother. This bacon is candied as fuck, my boy. It is smoking. The smell of this candied bacon is just permeating throughout the inn. There are other guests that are out there, and you can just feel their excitement buzzing as you are finishing this cook up. And
This party's gonna eat good.
And Tovlin comes back out to the front area and puts down the cuppo onto the counter and says, "Well, how'd you sleep, lad? Didn't see much of you last night."
Well, don't want to talk about it. Just, I just need a drink. Kind of should more. I think you should look at your roof, man. I think it's a little slippery. I think during the battle, some of it got hit. Some of your shingles fell off.
Oh, someone hit the shingles. That's odd. Orcs don't usually attack roofs around here.
Well, I was on the roof, so.
Oh, you were on the roof. You were there.
Yeah, I was on the. Remember that? Remember the last time I was in here? I climb on the roof to.
What did you fuck up? What did you fuck up, lad? What did you do up there?
No, I didn't fuck up anything. You just have a shitty roof. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, don't you fucking give me that, lad. Okay, listen.
Ever
Last
since
time you were
inherited
here,
this place-
you were fucking up a bunch of other things too.
No.
I love you, boy.
No,
Just
no,
tell
no.
me the fucking truth, okay?
All right. I climbed the roof last night. Get a better angle. You saw me being heroic, right? Out of my wheelhouse, right? Right. So I'll try to climb the same thing this morning, just to get a little bit of air, right? Just reminisce, ruminate. Another R word. I don't know.
Ruminate. Yeah. You surely
whatever word that
ruminated my roof, didn't you?
No. It was fucked up like that before I touched it. That's how I knew it fell off.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll get it fixed right away then. And he sort of like turns around, and when he turns around after kind of leading over to the door, he turns back to you and he goes, "You fucking dickhead." And with a big smile across his face, and kind of
Love
goes
you
into
too,
the
man.
back. And we come back to Cloud, who is now at the very base of Umbridge Hill. You can see the horizon line getting brighter and brighter as you get closer to the hill. And Cloud, what do you do from here, sir?
I would like to continue my way up Umbridge Hill towards her ancestors' burial markers on the Wayward Hill off to the side there. And I would like to gently kind of lay her amongst the rocks. And then I would like to go down to the windmill and see if I can find something to dig a proper grave with.
Okay. Well, a lot of things you're doing consecutively here. So you lay down a dauber onto the grass there, and where on this area are you kind of laying her towards?
Kind of like up against one of the stone piles that were there previously, like her ancestors' stone markers, just kind of, propping her up against it.
Sure. And so you kind of make your way back over to the windmill, and there's still the presence of this broken down, burnt down home that was there attached to the side of the windmill there. And along with that, many stones that were left over from the sort of raising of this house that is no longer really a home, but more of a entrance to the windmill now. What do you do from there?
I would just like to kind of investigate the windmill, and I think I'd like to wander around as if reminiscing, trying to understand, like getting a semblance for what maybe Adabra's life was like on her own in the windmill before she came to meet us and meet her fate.
Okay. Give me a investigation check then.
13.
So you're kind of looking around what used to be the walls of this home, and you can see a lot of history here, generally speaking. There are burnt photos that you can't quite see, of paintings of family members with that you can't really quite make out. But there are some older sort of trinkets, things like that. The usuals of what would be in a quiet, humble home of a windmill.
I would like to check to see if there is like a small item of note, maybe like a necklace or a bracelet, a memento, if you will.
Okay. I'll allow that on the last check. So as you sort of kind of peer into like the corners and such, you don't really notice those, but when you see the door to the windmill that is present from where this house was once attached, you can see a placard there on the door with just the symbol of a rose and 2 leaves of wheat sort of branched underneath it in a U shape.
You said this was something that was kind of on the wall?
Yeah, a circular plaque on the door to the windmill.
Okay. I'd like to kind of grab that off the wall and, tuck it under my arm to save. And then I would like to step outside of the windmill and see if there were any tools nearby that could aid me in digging a proper grave.
Okay, I'll have you roll a new investigation check then.
Yeah, since I'm stepping outside. Another 13.
Sure. No, there are no other tools there that you can sort of see right away. You do notice that there is a pretty good pile of sort of cluttered stones lying around there. There's beat up burnt wood. There's broken pieces there, but no sort of shovel or hoe or anything like that.
Is there a large amount of, like, how much stone is there, I suppose?
There's quite a bit. There's a lot of pieces sort of rubbled around from what used to be the stone walls of this house.
I would like to grab as much as I could reasonably carry for like a first trip, and then I would like to kind of take those stones back towards Adabra, and then dropping those stones, I want to take her and place her in the center of those previous grave markers and begin to build a similar stone cairn for her, as if to replicate the grave markers of her ancestors for her.
So as you're sort of stacking the stones up around her body there, each stone that you place, you kind of in your peripheral vision notice this bright green glow come off of one specific stone on each of these hills around you. And when you sort of look and put down the stone and see that green sort of flash happen, just a slow glow coming off to the side of your vision, you can also sort of hear the wind blow gently each time you put that stone down as well.
I just would like to continue to pile the stones and form her grave, making sure I make note of the ones that glow and give them a little extra care until I continue my process, however long that may take. I'll let Daddy Mommy decide. And then I would like to sort of clasp my hands and fumble, and boy, do I mean fumble, through a monk's prayer because I know them. I was taught them as a child, but it wasn't my purpose, so I didn't do very well with them. But I wanted to pay respects, so
Sure.
I stumble my way through a prayer as I finish the grave.
Roll me a religion check.
$17.
Cool. So yeah, you do a pretty decently successful prayer, and your hands kind of come together, and you start speaking the words that you have learned. And Cloud, what would those words be?
Let's see. By fist, by stone, by strength and bone, we commit this spirit to rest. A healer of her town, a beautiful one on her own right. Known little by our party, but grateful in the brief time that we knew her.
And as you finish
kind
those
of
words,
Break my hands.
you feel a hand kind of gently come up and lay on your shoulder. And when you do, you look up and you hear, "Fucking not again," and sort of look peering up the bright bluish green glow that you had seen coming from other stones is now before you, where Thrargris is now standing next to you again. And he sort of floats off to the side a little bit to just off to the left view of you. And he says, "I don't know what happened. I don't want to ask you. I just hope that she died with honor, lad."
I'm afraid not as much as she deserved, and I am sad to see your line end, old Dwarven King. But it felt respectful to give her a proper burial, and I wanted to do right by you and yours. And then I kind of raise up and begin to quietly walk back towards the town.
And Thragris says, hold on. Did you and your friends go to the temple yet?
No, old king, we have not decided to go yet to the temple, but we have decided that we will go.
And he sort of looks down at the ground and looks up at the sky, looks back at you and says, "All right, listen, if you go there, get what I asked you to get. There's a chance you might be able to help me, my people, and Adobra finally rest in peace." And he points down at her with his axe in his hand, glowing over there. And you can kind of start to see Adobra's body glow from within the rock structure through the cracks. And the rune, or the stone in the front that did not have a rune at first, now has a rune glowing in the front. And he looks back at you and he says, "This is your last chance to do me right, boy. Will you or will you not do it?"
For you, for Adabra, and your line, great king, it shall be completed.
And he sort of says shiftily, "Okay, don't come back until you have it, or you'll disappoint her." And he sort of slowly gusts off into the wind with dust and bugs floating throughout the air. And you, Cloud, sort of turn and shrug and make your way back to Stonehill Inn, where we have Boris and Leon, both now in the kitchen. And Moonwind is in there with them, sort of leaning against the counter. Jackal walks in with his now empty cup from mead. And you all sort of stand around this kitchen island in the middle of the cabinetry there. What do you guys do?
Oh, well, we finally got some rest. I think it's time we go find Cloud and Jackal here, and we gather up some provisions to find out what our next steps are.
Moonwind, yeah, go ahead. You're muted, bud.
Muted.
Muted.
Has anyone checked on the man on the ice?
Ah, good point. I did make a. Toblin, where's the man that we brought back?
And Toblin kind of like outside the door, and it's like, he's upstairs, sitting in the room next to yours.
All right. Anybody want to come with?
Don't mind if I
I
do.
got this. I raised my tankard up. I'm like, I got this, buddy. I gotta finish this.
I'm gonna assume that I've finished making the candied bacon.
Yes, yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna, we'll eat, get rid of the rest of this boar, and then after food is done, Boris is going to ask Toblin about drawing a bath and getting cleaned up.
Yeah, Toblin says, yeah, we can certainly do that, lad. There's a closet down the hall. There's a couple towels and garments there that you can use, and the room next to Jackal's there is a sort of communion tub room that you can have some privacy in.
Thank you, Toblin.
And so
He will make his way there.
Boris goes upstairs to take his little bathy bath, and Leon, Jackal, and Moonwind, you guys are sort of standing there and not really knowing exactly where to go next. What do you guys do?
I'm gonna go upstairs, and I'm gonna go towards the room where the man that we rescued is at.
Okay.
And I'll follow with him.
So you guys sort of make your way upstairs, and when you do, you kind of come up to the door, and you notice that there's a weird eeriness to the halls just outside of this door now. And Leon, you put your hand on the handle, and when you do, the door sort of slowly creaks open on its own.
I'm gonna look back at Moonwind and be like, something doesn't seem right.
Kind of chilling.
I'm gonna kind of peek through the door as I slowly open it. Do I see anything?
Yes, you do. When you peek and open the door slowly, further and further, the lights from day now creep into this completely pitch black room, and the door slowly creaks open, and as the door splits and the light shines in, you can now see a leg sort of shining within the light. And you push the door further open, and the man that was frozen in the ice is now frozen in death as he lays on the ground of this room.
What happened to him?
Fuck. I want to inspect the body.
And as you go to enter the room to start sort of checking on him, Toblin comes up from behind you guys and says, "What the fuck happened here?"
I was about to ask you the same thing.
That's what I'm gonna try and find out.
He was just alive 10-15 minutes ago when I last checked on him.
When was the last time you checked on him?
10-15 minutes ago.
I think it was pretty obvious what time it was when he just stated that before, Moonwind. All right, I
listen,
want to inspect the body.
Listen, I'm not saying that you don't know how to tell fucking time, lad, but I just said 10-15 minutes, okay? I don't need you incriminating me, making me look bad. I did nothing. I had nothing to fucking do with this, okay?
Toblin, I believe you. I'm not even suggesting that. The blue man sometimes says things. Don't let it get to you.
This is a first for me. All of this is beyond me.
Do you still have your pebbles in your pocket?
I pull them out and I just like walk. I just like pace back and forth behind.
Moon,
It's like
Moonwind.
I'm just like extremely nervous about all this shit.
Why don't you go show the kids your trick? I'm gonna see what happened here. I'll update you as soon as I can.
Leon, give me an investigation check.
+3. I only got 14.
Cool. So you walk in the room and you're like, oh, this guy's dead. Jesus Christ. And so as you come up, you sort of you firstly notice he's actually lying on his stomach. And his arms are sort of frozen next to his body, just hugged real close to him, as if he's sort of
stiff?
very stiff, very sort of in a very perfect stanced position. What do you do from there?
I want to look around the room.
Around the room? Okay.
Like while I'm still like kneeling around the body, I just want to like do a scan, you know.
Over. Okay.
Yeah.
There's not really anything else in this room. You see a bed and a chair, an open window sort of there, a rug that's sort of made of fur, kind of pushed off to the side from the bed, and no footsteps that you can see within this space.
Can I check underneath the rug?
If you like to, yeah. Give me another investigation check.
Nine.
Yeah, you sort of lift up the rug. You go, let's put it back down again. And you turn back towards the man's body. And you notice that even though his body is stiff, his head is sort of tilted sideways as if he's looking at the wall away from you.
Okay. Can I inspect that wall?
If you'd like to, yeah, go ahead.
17.
17, okay. So you kind of come over to the wall to kind of see what his head might be tilted towards. And you don't see anything, but when you do kind of go over there and look back towards him, you notice a knife planted straight squarely into the middle of his face, almost replacing his nose. How driven this blade is into his skull.
I look at Toblin because I assume he's still there in the hallway doorway, right?
Yeah.
This man was murdered.
And Toblin looks back and goes, how many other fucking problems are we gonna have around here?
I want to turn the body over.
Okay. You turn the body over there and kind of notice that on his front side there is the carving of what looks like sort of drawn bat wings across the entirety of his torso in layers, multiple bat wings kind of going all the way down the front side of his stomach. And in the middle is the diagram of an eye planted right in the middle of his diaphragm amongst those bat wing carvings.
Do I recognize these carvings in any way?
Give me a religion check.
All right. 15.
You don't know exactly where they're from, but you do know that this has to be some sort of workings that are tied to what had just happened in the town.
This seems to be a murder in from some sort of cult. You said you've been dealing with these attacks from these orcs often, no, Toblin?
Yeah, it's been about 4 times this year alone so far, and it's only April.
Do you recognize these markings at all?
And he kind of squints and looks close, and no, I know nothing about that, lad.
This looks similar to the bodies from outside. But I can't quite tell what it is. Can I check his pockets and stuff and see if he has anything on him?
Yeah, give me another investigation check.
19.
Xander.
I'd like to return, still with the balls, just because they're like my worry beads at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I
go up to Toblin. Yeah, it's a stress ball basically. I'll look over at Toblin. I was like, "Did anyone have access to this room aside from us? Did you see anyone else other than us up here?"
Tolan sort of turns and says, "Well, he wasn't a fucking prisoner, lad. I didn't lock him in. He was there. He was resting."
Right. I'm just asking if you had noticed anyone else around up here.
No, lad. No, just Pip and Gilly running around. You fellas, a couple of other guests that we had in the building, but nobody of no shadiness, no.
So I rolled a 19 to check his pockets, but since Toblin just said that, I want to ask him. I'm like, who are the other individuals staying here?
And he sort of thinks about it and goes, "Oh, I mean, the name. I know one of their names is Apathy. I don't really know them. They're just guests of the inn. They came through town yesterday."
Curious. Do I find anything on this man?
No, nothing in his pockets. Nothing.
Toblin, you said these people just came in yesterday. Are they still here?
And he says, "Yeah, they're probably downstairs still. I know they were sitting there while we were eating breakfast."
Okay, so were they there the whole time that you would, after you checked on this individual, you said that it was alive about 15 minutes ago?
Yes, yeah. No, they've been downstairs the whole time.
Okay, is there a window in this room?
Yeah, it's
I
open.
want to check the windowsill.
Okay.
It's open. Okay, I want to look out the window.
Okay.
See if there's any traces of anything.
All right.
What kind of check?
Investigation. Thank you for asking.
18.
So there on the windowsill, you can see that the window is open, and on the very edge of the frame, you notice this fine line of blood sort of washing down over the edge there, as if something sort of slid off of the edge.
I want to go onto the roof, and then I'm going to look back at Moonwind, and I'm going to tell him, I'm like, you need to go inform Jackal of what just happened.
On it.
And as Moonwind goes to turn and run downstairs, you both hear and the man begins to sort of stand up onto his knees, onto his feet, in this sort of shambly gesture. He turns to look at Leon and pulls the blade from the front of his face. Blood sprays across your coat. He pulls the dagger down to his side. Head shifts.
I want to draw my sword.
Okay.
Leon, what the strike is that?
I don't know, Moonwind. Just get ready.
He holds the knife up, and as he does, his head turns to the other side again and says, "Please." And he slits his throat slowly across as blood
What the fuck?
gashes down his body.
What the fuck?
And that is where we
What
will.
the fuck is happening here?
That is where we will end today's session, gentlemen. Ooh, we got some fun stuff for you guys, and for you guys at home too. Sorry, this episode is a little bit chaotic here. You guys are going to see a couple of cuts as we go across, but we love all of you as per usual, and we're going to get on out of here so we can talk about this session. And until next time, my friends, be good to each other.
But
What the fuck?
What the fuck?